So you want to be an animation director, like really bring those characters and stories to life. It's a whole other world beyond just loving to draw. We're going deep into this today. Got some great resources you sent over. Stuff from RoleCatcher, career guides, the works.
And that is a lot more than artistic talent. That's so true. We need to get into what this role really involves beyond what people might think.
Yeah, everyone loves the creative geniuses image, but this RoleCatcher guide gets real. This is a career, not just a hobby.
Right, and with huge EE responsibility, leading teams, managing money, even legal stuff comes into play.
Yeah.
Not what you picture with animation at first, huh?
You know what got me? Those career stage breakdowns. Budgeting, recruiting, tech trends. You don't learn that in art school. What stood out to you?
It's how it changes as you move up.
Yeah.
Junior animator, you're like mastering After Effects, all those motion graphics you see everywhere.
Oh.
But a director, they're on top of AI tools now, things like procedural animation. That's changing the WLE game.
Whoa, hold on. AI for animation. We're in the future already. Tell me more.
It's wild. RoleCatcher actually uses AI, this RoleCatcher Copilot, to go through resumes, portfolios, matching your skills to what jobs need. Imagine an algorithm checking your reel, seeing if your style's what studios want.
That's like a super-powered assistant to get you noticed, but also kind of scary. AI looking at your work with human eyes.
Right. So knowing how AI is changing the field is huge EE. It's not just being good at art. It's using these tools to your advantage, staying ahead, incorporating them, maybe even shaping how the tech develops itself.
So not just drawing skills anymore. You need the art A&D, the tech smarts. What about the people side? The guide said 55% is active listening. That's a lot, especially for something seen as solo work.
Absolutely. You're a leader, right? Communicating with your team, clients, even sensing how the audience will feel. You take all that feedback, the ideas, and turn it into the visuals.
Makes sense. It's not just your vision, it's getting everyone on board with it. That's going to be tough with so many creative people involved.
You got it. And as you climb that RoleCatcher ladder, junior to senior, then director, that leadership, the client stuff, strategic thinking, it all gets bigger.
Okay, so not just being an amazing artist, but a communicator, tech whiz, strategist. How does someone actually DO this job, climb the ladder, straight shot, or more complicated?
That's where it gets interesting. Luckily, RoleCatcher lays out the milestones, and they're honest about the work needed. It's a journey. Definitely not always a straight line.
No shortcuts then, huh? So what's the actual path look like? Square one, where do we start?
RoleCatcher lays out 5 stages. First up, junior animation artist. This is where you're really learning the ropes. Think of it like an apprenticeship. You're assisting those senior artists, becoming a master of the software, things like Autodesk, Maya. I bet you even get yelled at for forgetting to save a file at some point.
Oh, I've been there. But really, what are you actually doing day to day?
They give great examples. Say you're working on a big animated film, right? Junior animator. You might be in charge of a character's walk cycle. Seems minor.
But you gotta nail it.
Exactly. Making it look natural, expressive. That takes understanding movement, timing, A&D the software.
I bet there's pressure to get it perfect, especially on a big project.
Totally. You prove yourself, you move up animation artist. Now you have more say in things. It's not just walk cycles anymore. It's maybe a whole scene, working directly with a director to bring their vision to life.
Stakes are higher now. Not just technical anymore. You're taking someone else's creative lead and making it real.
And that's where those soft skills we talked about. Huge. Remember active listening. Imagine getting feedback on this scene you poured your heart into, and the director wants to change the pacing or a facial expression.
Oof. Yeah.
Can you take that feedback, really get why they're saying it, and make your work even better?
That takes some serious resilience, being able to learn as you go.
You got it. The people who roll with the punches, who keep learning, they're the ones who level up. Senior animation artist.
Okay, climbing that ladder. What's this level all about? Even more responsibility.
You're not only responsible for your own work, but now you're mentoring junior artists, working with the director on the style of the whole project, even figuring out workflows for everyone.
So leading a team within a team. Not just your own art, it's elevating everyone else too.
Exactly. And remember, staying updated on the tech stuff. That's even more important now. Say a new AI rigging tool comes out. A senior artist needs to know how that tool can help the whole team, maybe even be the one who gets the studio to use it.
Technology really changes things, huh? Lifelong learning is key in this field.
And that brings us to almost the top animation supervisor. Things get really serious here. Now you're overseeing entire projects, managing the animators, making sure everything's consistent, You're the bridge between what the director wants and actually getting it made.
That's a huge jump.
It is. And this is where some great artists realize management's not for me.
Yeah.
It's not just being creative anymore. You're managing people, dealing with deadlines, making tough calls about money and resources.
Diplomat, strategist, organizer, and still gotta love the art itself.
You said it. And it's only after all that, proving you're both the creative and the leader, that you can even aim for that animation director role.
Okay, so we're at the summit. We've talked about this whole journey, but what's it actually like at the top? What makes a successful animation director?
It's everything we discussed, but times 10. You set the entire artistic vision, the style, the little details, everything. You build the team, you inspire them, you work closely with producers on budget, deadlines,
Yeah.
and you're always pushing the limits of what animation can be.
That's a lot of pressure. You need the vision, the technical stuff, and even the leadership all in one.
Absolutely. A visionary, a mentor, a problem solver. They have that love for animation, they get storytelling, and they can bring a team together to achieve one artistic goal.
And we can't forget, they need to be on top of the technology too. AI is changing the game constantly. They have to adapt, use those new tools.
You're right. But what's really interesting is this. The skills you learn on this journey, leadership, creative problem solving, the tech, that could be used for a lot more careers than you might think.
Wait, you're saying someone who wants to direct animation might end up doing something totally different?
Yep. And RoleCatcher even talks about these alternative paths. We'll get into those in a bit.
Okay, now I gotta know. We've talked about being an animation director, but you're saying those skills can apply to other things too. What other paths are we talking about?
Think about what we've discussed, right? You're telling a story visually, solving problems, leading a team to make that artistic vision real. That's valuable everywhere, even places you wouldn't expect.
Give me an example. What's something an aspiring animation director might end up doing that's not directing animation?
RoleCatcher mentions performance lighting directors. Think about designing the lighting for a concert, a Broadway show, even a big corporate event. You're using light, shadow to set the mood, guide the audience's eye, make those emotional moments hit harder.
I never thought of it that way. It's like, instead of movement, you're choreographing the light. But it's still visual storytelling at its core. And like an animation director with software, a lighting director needs to know their equipment, how light works, even what gels and filters will do on stage.
And there's production design too. RoleCatcher talks about that. On a film set, you're creating the whole look. Colors, the sets, even the props, they all tell a story without a word.
Like those amazing animated films where every little detail in the background feels important. That animation background would be huge for a production designer. Knowing how to create depth, use color for emotion, even how to lead the viewer's eye through the scene.
Exactly. And it's getting even more blended with virtual production. Imagine actors on a stage, but instead of green screen, it's a digital world made in real time with game engines. That's virtual production.
Sounds crazy complicated. You'd need to know film any animation, right?
For sure. And guess what? A lot of the software, things like Unreal Engine, they're being used in animation too. So all that time learning Maya, Toon Boom, it's not just for animation anymore. It's bleeding into live action.
Wow, that's huge. It's like those skills are future-proofing your career, even if you go in a totally different direction.
It's all about skills that translate. Communication, thinking critically, problem-solving. RoleCatcher highlights those. Essential for anything creative, whether it's pixels on a screen or actors on a stage.
So what's the takeaway for our listener today? Someone who loves animation, wants to direct, what should they remember?
Don't be afraid to think big. It's great to have a goal, but be open to the journey, the unexpected detours. Maybe you start as an animator, but fall in love with design or the tech side of things. Those skills, the people you meet, they can lead to amazing places.
Love that. Stay curious, stay flexible, and know your skills are valuable no matter the job title.
All right, and those RoleCatcher resources we talked about, the guides, the interview tips, even that AI resume tool, they're there to help no matter where your creativity takes you.
So well said. Animation director, it's a tough but rewarding path. But more importantly, it opens up a world of creative possibilities. So keep learning, keep that curiosity alive. Who knows what you'll find on the other side of this deep dive.
Couldn't agree more.
Until next time, keep those creative sparks flying.